But it's that time of year again where I'm going to start working on some Halloween ideas. One of them is I'm going to take some of my tombstones like this one and all of these, and I'm gonna redo them. So I've been like this for a couple years, and I've been tossing around some ideas of what to do with them, but I finally decided it's time to do something. It's time to change them a little bit, make them look a little different, trying to maybe change their shape, and maybe take a router to them and reshape them a little. But we'll see. Got a couple ideas to play with. Alright, here they are a little further along. As you can see, I've cut them up a little bit. I've changed the top of the middle one, and the end one I've changed a lot. And I've taken the router to them and carved out the letters instead of painting them on them. I want them to show up a little bit nicer. And then this one with the box on it, I'm going to try and make a kind of a half foam skull and see if I can't get some sort of red plastic jewels to kind of show it up, and then kind of glue that in the middle of it. And then this end one, it's going to take a little more work, so I want to make a kind of a Celtic cross, which doesn't show very well. Yeah, I want to try and make it look like that, but I got to try and do some sort of knotting detail in the rounded part around the edge, which I have an idea for. I'm going to have to. And now, before I get working on painting all of them, I'm going to finish this one a little more. I'm going to take the base on this one and make it deeper. Instead of just being a flat piece of plywood, I'm going to widen the base out so that it's got some more depth to it, so it looks a little more real instead of it just being kind of a silhouette standing there. And I might try to make the cross itself look a little bit deeper too. I'm not sure. I'll have to play with it, see what it does. But eventually we'll get all that done, then I can paint them. I can try to refinish them a little bit, make them a little more stone instead of this flex stone spray paint that I got on them now. Alright, here we are again a little further. As you can see, I've taken the styrofoam and I've kind of carved the skull shape, and it's not the nice like blue or pink insulating foam. It's kind of just a white packing foam. It's not the easiest stuff to carve, but I haven't really done that much of styrofoam, so it's good practice. And what I did is I just kind of took an X-Acto knife and I carved out the eyes and the mouth and the nose and the shape of the skull. And then I took like a spray paint which dissolves styrofoam basically, and it gives it a little bit of a rougher texture. It's not so much to give it a color as much as just kind of give it a finish. And then I've hand painted it black, and then I've obviously glued it to the stone. And then obviously would be the cross with the wider base. And eventually we'll get them all painted. And I've added these are actually biscuit joiners that you put between joining pieces of wood. And I've nailed them on there to give them kind of a leaf pattern to the corners, just a little extra. Alright, now I've got all the black painted on them. I'm going to let this dry, and once it's dry I'm going to come back with another couple of shades of gray, and we're going to start dry brushing that over everything and getting some new stone finish on it. Alright, here we go. I've got them now. I ended up using just one shade of gray on them. It turned out pretty clean, or at least how I wanted anyways. But the gray that was underneath and the black that I did from all the refinishing turned out pretty nice. And they got a nice bleed through on them. And it looks kind of neat with the wood texture on there with the chipboard. It gives it a rougher pattern. And I like it. Especially this one. I don't know, it doesn't really show up well on the camera, I don't know. But in person, I think it looks pretty neat. It's the simplest one, but I like it. It's kind of cool. But that's my stone remodel for this year. Although I might take that one, I might try to put some sort of an applique on that ledge, just to dress it up a little more. It's kind of, I like it, but I feel like there should be something there. We'll have to see. We'll fool around with it. But for now, they're done.